Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special episode. I did it. I have completely broken, defeated, demoralized, and totally crushed this game. So let's get in and take a look at how this plays out. This timer is intended to show you the length of time that this AI played. Now, I've sped up this game for you today to 20,000% because obviously I don't want you sitting here as long as my computer had to sit here playing the game. Now, I guess it just stands to reason that I can say we have flawless prediction here of every move. This wasn't easy. There's a number of scenarios that can happen. I won't go into the details of it. It's rather boring, but I went through so many versions and generations of my AI strategy that I stopped calling them version 1, version 2, and this one is literally called Hold My Coffee. Yeah, gosh, it really was a challenge to reach this point, to reach a point where it literally has an answer to every situation that the game can throw at it. And of course, that might sound really easy to do if you're really stubborn and you want to just sit down with a spreadsheet and work through all the things like I did. But what you very quickly realize is you can come up with a list of every single permutation possible, but the list will be so big that it'll be really slow to iterate through. So I had to tune the living daylights out of that and boil it down to something that was sub-millisecond fast. So if that gives you some appreciation for the perfection of the, the flawlessness of this thing, that's pretty much it. This is a culmination of hours and hours, if not days and days, of striving and struggling and getting frustrated. But basically, I've come up with an AI strategy that completely defeats this game. Look, I'll just talk very briefly about some of the high-level challenges. That one of the biggest ones has got to have been the challenges in trying to read the baby positions, a horizontal screen refresh, and they're literally drawing pixel by pixel. And of course, if you're reading a pixel in the middle of that, you might think the baby was there, but the baby was just about to be drawn in the next position. And so technically, your timing is one position out. Okay, now we are approaching a score of 10,000. Now, I think if you look at the score on screen, you'll notice that we don't really have much space for the score to expand into 5 characters. Now, that's going to be an interesting thing here. You watch what happens. Bang. Now, what I want to know is if there's anyone out there who can explain why we got a percentage sign. Now, I would argue that we're possibly the first people to ever see this happen in the game. This is unexpected behavior. This could very well be the integer overflow that we were looking for in order to claim victory over this game, to say that we beat it with AI. I am happy to call that part of my success definition, if you will. It does. I would have liked the game to crash, but I have a feeling Dave Baskin coded this so well that he's potentially made it that each character position of the 4 characters might each be an individual integer, and he might have had them pegged to go from 0 to 9. And of course, what's happened is when the 1000th character, the 4th character, when that's hit 9 and had to go to 10, that's when we've ended up with unexpected behavior. Technically, I overflowed that integer, but not in a way that's crushed it. It might just be that it's overflowed his function, and he might have had something in his function that simply produced this strange behavior, whether deliberate or not. Of course, you could argue that if each character there is an integer, then technically we can still overflow those integers. That last 1000th character, it might be that it overflows at 32,500, it might be 65,000, or it could be in the billions and trillions. So really, when you think about it, add an extra 3 zeros onto any of those numbers and it just becomes an unachievable score realistically, unless you could speed up the game and still read the game at that speed. And quite frankly, I think that would be a challenge. If I ever figure out a way to do it, I'll give it a go, but I really do want to move on to other games after this. Another challenge that we faced is that there is an exceptionally tight window of time that you have to have the trampoline in place to catch a baby. Now, when you have one baby on screen or one baby needing to be caught at a time, that's no worry. You just got to have the trampoline there in time. You'll catch the baby. But when you've got two babies over the top of the catch positions and you need to catch one instead of the other, you might catch the first one, but you have millisecond, if not sub-millisecond timing to get the trampoline from the catch of the first baby to the catch of the second baby. You miss that timing and you drop the baby. That's one of the challenges that I've had. I've had to strip the code down so far. I've had to look for anything that gives me a performance gain. Basically, you're living on the knife edge at all times. I have tuned this code to the nth degree, and it has paid off. Now, one thing I just want to explain, which you might find funny, is that prior to running it this time around, I had a previous attempt setting this running. Now, when I set this going on my laptop, it pretty much dominates my entire laptop because I can't get on and use my laptop for anything else because the AI gameplay is literally playing on my computer for me. It's almost like anyone who's got kids and they've had to hand their phone off to their kid while they play Minecraft. It was pretty much like that with this. I had to leave the AI playing the game for me. So that timer on screen shows how many hours I have been without the laptop while it played the game. The funny thing is, while I had it running, at one point I forgot and I came in and I tried to wiggle the mouse and log on thinking that the screen was off because it just needed to be woken up and clicked, and I broke it. Very disappointing. One thought while we watch this playing is that we may very well be looking at a new category of gameplay on YouTube or anywhere in the world, which I kind of like to think about as maybe being a high score category for AI gameplay. So gameplay of anyone playing a game, but it's their AI, their own handmade AI that's playing it as opposed to them themselves. Obviously, it's a category that doesn't compete against humans. It's a category that competes against itself. So I am actually going to be reaching out to various competition runners to see if they have categories for this or if they would be interested in opening a category for this. I think there's genuine fun that can be had here, a lot of learning as well, and just could be a really friendly community that could be built around such a thing as well. So if you're interested in that, why not also shoot a comment below? Now, obviously, all good things had to come to an end. So exactly what brought this game to an end? Well, funny enough, I have the joy of being able to tell you it wasn't that my AI eventually mucked up. It's sort of bittersweet though. So what happened was just after midnight last night, after the game had been running for 26 hours and 35 minutes, my internet dropped, and that produced an unexpected Windows pop-up that must have gone over the game window or stole the window focus away from the game just long enough for it to drop the babies. And because there were so many babies coming out at the time, it dropped them all in a matter of seconds. So it was over. But I'm very fortunate. I'm very grateful because if you see the score, it literally just peaked over 30,000. It would have been really annoying if it was 29,999 or 29,990. But you know what? I'm very happy with it breaking 30,000 points. I don't think Dave Baskin ever expected anyone to reach such heights. I never expected to reach such heights. I thought this thing would break when we hit 5 characters on the score. It kind of did. So again, satisfaction plus. As much as I would have loved to have pushed this thing even further, I have to call this done at some point. I have to define what completion is. And I'm very happy to call it complete at this point. I produced an unexpected behavior on the score when we hit 5 characters and then pushed 3 times that value. Very happy and satisfied. And, if you would love to know more or you would like to just talk about this more, why not drop a comment below, and I would like to hear from you. Drop a like on the video. If you're not subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button right now, because I've got plenty more of these coming along. I'm working on multiple games at once now. I'm not going to be hyper focusing on a single game beyond this point for your sanity and mine. But I do just want to thank you for watching. And yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed that. And I'll see you in the next one.